Our world is full of conflict. Likely, we are living in the closing days of this society. Why? Why has our race, the human race, come to this? It seems no one is concerned to ask this question. The World Economic Forum is forcefully pushing our planet towards its envisioned Great Reset. But why has no one ever asked how we got here? Is this not a more important question than formulating any plan to get us out? Will a plan to rescue our people and our planet ever hold any chance of success unless we come to investigate and understand and reverse the causes which have brought our lives to such dismay today? If we do not understand what brought us here, and we merely act to change where we are we not in danger of ever repeating the same mistakes? And historically, when we look back at the evolution of the human race, we can see societies have built, flowered, and been destroyed over and over again. This is a pattern of living we have never understood. It may not be our outer structure of society which needs changed at all. We have tried this approach countless times in past history, and not once has it come to succeed. It will never succeed. Because this approach of changing our outer relationships ignores the root movement which gives birth to these relationships, which together collectively we call society. The root movement of all of our actions is found in thinking. And this psychological activity is what we must come to see if we are to have any success in bringing to bear any reset which will have any value at all to the lives of any of us. Thinking is behind and has been behind the actions of all humanity. And we do not understand thinking, although each of us engages within it every moment of every day. This is an automatic movement which flows through us, memory-based, limited to its content by previous life experiences, held in the brain as knowledge, from which all thought arises. This inner movement is the root of all of our problems. It is what comes to divide us at every level of our sorrow-filled lives. The very root of our actions. These inward movements we see as the very centre of our beings. Thinking is a limited bank of recorded memories which colour our outer world in inward projected images, which differ between each of us, and the differences in our inner images which are necessary as each of us has been educated to find security in different nations, languages, beliefs, desires, attachments and identifications. These all divide us, and we naturally come to conflict and war. Our habitual thinking is what has habitually brought us repetitively to war. Hitler acted, and the root of Hitler's actions was his thinking. Stalin, the same. Lenin, the same. Mao, the same. The Great Reset, the same. Our bold moves to better our life positions are led from the inner thinking of certain men, usually powerful men in our society. Is thought capable of revolutionising our society? Thought has built our society, Can we trust the movement which has built such a complex, divisive, and chaotic society to heal our wounds? Has thought ever been capable of revolutionising society? No. Will it ever be? No. Thought, to put very simply, is memory, and memory is never complete. It is never the whole of life, for memory arises from past recorded information, and this is stored in our brain cells as knowledge, and limited to the totality of past experiences we have had. No one can experience everything, and so thought is ever limited and ever divisive and ever conflict-causing. And we insist on ever using this same worn-out mechanism to solve the problems it has itself created, and it naturally ever increases them. Obviously so, for thought's considerations are completely limited to the content of the bank of knowledge I have access to within the memory-based brain cells, which itself is a limitation to my past experiences. I cannot consider the experiences of another through thinking. Thought is useless. In fact, thought is the very movement which is destroying our world. Look at any mad activity of any mad human being, system, bank, organisation, government. Behind the mad activity, you will find always limited thought, seeking its own security through the continuity of its self-generated, continual divisive movements, in constant competition against all others, doing exactly the same. This is educated, learned, and programmed classroom behaviour. Live forever in memory, get to the top, and keep progressing. School certainly had an effect on all of our lives, and not a good one. So how do we get out of this predicament, this dreadful position, where the very source of all of our problems is what is eternally being called upon to resolve them, and so forever continuing them? Thought itself is the root of all of our human problems. Thought is the root of our actions, and our actions are what have led us here communally. We are all working and spending energy in different directions, all seeking isolated security against the other, because we are all acting from the limitations of our knowledge-based thinking. We need negate thinking. Thought has no place in running life. Thought is memory, and memory is the past. Life is not found in the past. The future, which thought projects eternally into, is not truly any future. It is a mere continuity of that which came before, the past. And so we never can change. If I conceive of a better future than today, using thinking, which is knowledge in movement gathered from my past, then the future can only be one thing, and that one thing is a modified continuity of that which I seek to change, but which I am now forever impotent to do so. The very mechanism I am using to change is the very thing which needs to be changed. We seek a change in our society, a real change, a meaningful change, and one has been proposed, again, from thinking. Does this thinking itself not need be included in the change? You see the problem? We are forever trying to travel to a better future conceptual destination, without understanding the destination we have arrived at. Without such understanding, we are ever doomed for complete failure, for the movement of ever seeking to better ourselves into a conceptual future, which is a continuity of what we are today and have been previously, projected into a continuing concept of future. This may itself be the very movement which brings so much havoc and chaos to our world, and it is. Look at the chaos since this great reset began, and this is building back better. Chaos always follows an enforced direction of thought, because thought, as explained previously, is limited in its actions to its stored knowledge-based experiences, which give rise to the inner limited mechanism of divisive and so conflict-causing thinking. Back again, what's the answer? Is thought asking? The answer is obviously in understanding this inner automatic time-based movement of memory within each of us, which currently drives our sorrow-filled lives. We need come to the very source of our actions, which is what we call ourselves, the talking voice inside each and every one of us, a voice of the past, a voice of knowledge, and we need listen. We need listen to the point of complete understanding of what we are listening to. And what we are listening to is a part of ourselves. Do you know how to listen in such a way that it may come to change your life? Of course not. This is not standardized education. You listen in silence. Listening, true listening, demands a complete silence of the mind. For if the mind is chattering, it is not listening. And listening from silence has the only capacity to reveal the entire content of our divisive and trouble-causing consciousness. Can you listen from silence to your inner self? If you can, you may be bringing change to the mind of humanity. You are introducing a new quality to life. The quality of seeing the root inner movement which gives birth to our actions, unadulterated by what you think about what you are seeing. It is such clear vision, total vision, whole vision, complete vision, which allows the brain to see its own complex inward movements in totality, and in such total seeing, the mind undergoes a change. And this change is the only great reset mankind will ever need to meet. All else is no reset at all. It is a modified continuity of what came before, and so greatly dangerous to all of our lives. In its divisive and self-interested, experience-limited considerations. The birth of a new world will be found in the birth of a new human mind, in the birth of a new consciousness. As it must, for the mind of mankind has always been source to his actions, and so it is here we come to find the only issue we have ever had. It is here we begin to heal.
As one observes, right round the world, there is utter chaos. Something has happened to humanity, to the human being. There are these problems of overpopulation, pollution, the tremendous economic imbalance, social injustice, and so on and on and on. The utter chaos in the political field. So seeing all that, the chaos, the suffering, the extraordinary sense of brutality and violence in the world, in observing that, it becomes absolutely necessary that one be a light to oneself, not depending on anybody psychologically. One has to be totally a light to oneself in this world of chaos, which we altogether have created it. I mean, by being a light to oneself, not depending on some philosophy, on a guru, on some external authority, or the latest psychologist, but to understand totally ourselves, and therefore our relationship with each other and with the world.
Like so many others, we were hurt financially by COVID. We are looking to hopefully get some small financial help to contribute to the possibility of continuing our work here. Making these films does take an immense amount of time, and certain repetitive financial commitments need be repetitively met. So if you like the work we are doing here and would like to support us to continue doing it, if you would like to become part of a team seeking real change in the lives of humanity, then if you can afford even a cup of coffee to help support our work, may I introduce you to our Patreon page. I thank anyone who takes the time to watch these films. You are the main backbone support to our work. And I thank anyone who is generous enough of heart and mind, and who has the means, of course, to help us in our attempts to continue doing so. These are difficult times for all of humanity, for all of us at least, not rich. We will do best through it all if we can come together and support each other. Best wishes to you all, and thanks above all for watching and listening. This is ever the most important activity any of us can bring to our lives.